There are a lot of opinions on the worst case scenario for Bitcoin. What will get the most clicks? Something outrageous, maybe some crazy low prediction. But I'm not interested in the clicks. I'm not interested in the crazy predictions. I'm interested in the facts and the charts. And I wanted to make an honest video, giving the cold hard facts of legitimately what could be the absolute worst case scenario for Bitcoin. It's probably not something you're expecting. It's not the glorified click you're thinking about, but it legitimately could happen in the next few months, right on schedule, for the worst case scenario for Bitcoin. It would take everybody by storm. And when it happened, everybody would be calling for shockingly much lower prices, but they'll never come. Instead, this exact scenario might actually play out right before our eyes a few months from now. So here we are, making an honest and open video about exactly what the facts and the charts are saying. Let's jump into it. If you're new here, welcome in. My name is Steve. On this channel, I do not tell you what you want to hear. I tell you the facts and the charts, which often go against the high majority of people, which make it relatively controversial. But again, we stick to the facts and the charts, and my goal is to really actually help you stay more level-headed in crypto, to have a lot more success in crypto. So let's jump into this chart. We're on the weekly chart, Bitcoin US dollar index, and what we have is 1, 2, 3, 4 distinct cycles. The first one in 2012, the second one in 2016, the third one in 2019, and the fourth one in 2023. All four of them have exactly the same type of patterns happening. What you can see is the latest and greatest chart. This is something that we covered 183 days ago. I sat right here in this chair and I said, look, Bitcoin is in phase one of the bull, and it's likely we're going to go sideways for at least 100 days. The volatility is going to be very low and it's going to be relatively boring. It's going to feel like Bitcoin's the same price every day. That was 183 days ago. I also said 183 days ago, it's not likely we're going to get above 31K. Those were really crazy things to say 183 days ago. In fact, when I said all of those things, a lot of people were against our community because at the time, Bitcoin just doubled in price. Everybody was very convinced we're going to 50K. But I said, it's probably not going to get above 31. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but just look at the cycles. This cycle, as soon as it entered phase one, it went sideways for almost 500 days. This cycle went sideways for almost 200 days in phase one. This cycle went sideways for almost 200 days in phase one. Keep in mind, phase one reaches the highest price and then it gets very boring for a couple hundred days. 2016, we more than double in price and we go sideways. We do not reach a higher price than this one for almost 200 days. And again, 2019, more than doubled. We do not reach a higher price than this one for almost 500 days. So we sat right here and we said, look, phase one plays a lot of tricks on people. Just be ready for it. So here we are 183 days later. We have not gotten above 31K. We have very low volatility. The price action has been very, very boring. It feels like Bitcoin's the same price every day, but this is the calm before the storm. There is a storm coming and we do have clues. I wanted to give the hottest information right off the press of where we are because Bitcoin had fallen below this red line. We created this rule 183 days ago. If we fell below the red line, we were expecting something, but now we've climbed above the red line. So have we changed that outlook? Let's break it down. Let's go back to 2012. We created a high price and that market cycle high. We crashed down. We created our bottom, and from our bottom, we had a very large rally from about $2 all the way up to about $7. Very, very large rally. This pulled Bitcoin literally out of a bear market and into phase one of the bull. This 2016, we had the top of a market here. We had the bottom of a market, a nice traditional double bottom. From that double bottom, we went from about $160 up to almost 500. So more than doubled in price. This rally literally brought Bitcoin out of a bear and into phase one of the bull. But phase one of the bull, most people think, oh, we're in phase one of the bull, we just continue up. No, that's not what phase one of the bull does. In fact, phase one of the bull usually has a pretty big curveball, which I do not believe people are ready for. And when it happens, people are not going to know what to do unless you watch this video. So phase one of the bull here, boom, pulls Bitcoin out of a bear into a bull. It just goes sideways. It gets very, very boring. 196 days, we do not reach a higher price than this. What we did do, however, is we remained above this red line. We remained above this red line holding as support. In fact, this red line is a secret line. If you look at Bitcoin's entire history, whenever we have a body close below the red line, it tells us turmoil is coming. The same can be true about 2019. What Bitcoin did was we created our bottom, only one bottom, which is rare. Bitcoin always double bottoms. And the one bottom, we had a huge rally out of that. We went from about 3,000 and change up to 14,000, way more than double. And when we did that, it literally dragged Bitcoin out of a bear and into a bull. In order to get out of a bear and into a bull, Bitcoin needs to at least double in price. It's a very, very large move. Bitcoin is out of breath after it makes it, and then it needs to create market structure. The whole point of phase one of the bull is to create market structure. The market structure is actually built directly on top of our previous resistance. If you look at the resistance zone of the bottom of a market, we built phase one directly on top of that. The same can be true about any market cycle. This phase one of the bull, look at this market structure built directly on top of what used to be our resistance during the bottom. Same can be said about 2019. Look at this market structure right here, built directly on top of our market structure, what used to be our resistance at the bottom of the market. And once again, here we are in 2023 doing the exact same things, but people still get caught off guard. And wait until a few months from now, people are going to be really caught off guard. We will get to that in a moment. But you can see what happened in 2019. Boom, huge rally, pulled Bitcoin, dragged it out of the bear market, even though we only had one bottom, dragged it out of the bear market into phase one of the bull. We did not reach a higher price than this for almost 500 days. Why? Why was it different than this one and this one, which were only 200 days? Well, what Bitcoin did in 2019 was it rallied too high, too quickly. It did not create market structure, and we had a clue. We went below this red line. Anytime in history we go below this red line, it spells that in months ahead, there's going to be some turmoils. Not days ahead, not weeks ahead, months. This is where people get caught off guard, because in crypto, people are too focused on the day-to-day. You're not going to make your money on the day-to-day. You're not going to make your money on the week-to-week. You're going to make your money in the big bets, the big market cycle turns. This is where you're going to either make all of your money or lose all of your money. Plain and simple. Look back at all of the time you've been in crypto. These little day-to-day moves that everyone overreacts to, it's not where the money's at. It never was, and it never will be. Attention teachers, coaches, professors, I want to hire you. Even if you've always dreamed about having one of those jobs and never had it, I want to hire you. I care about this. Here are the qualifications. Are you incredibly passionate about crypto? Number 2, are you incredibly passionate about actually helping other people improve their lives? And number 3, are you incredibly passionate about teaching? If you said yes to those 3, I want to hire you. Send me an email right now, info@cryptocrewuniversity.com. We're building an incredible team. Become a part of our team to help improve lives. Our mission is to change 1 million lives. If you resonate with that and you want to get a job in crypto to do the thing you love, this is your opportunity. This is a calling of a lifetime. Send me an email and we'll see where it goes. Peace and love. 2019, boom, candle below. The body of a candle holding below here. Doesn't happen often. The whole 2016 market, no. Even if you look at 2012 and the way that this bull market went, this candle was not closed below. This candle literally was still above this red line. If you have a candle actually closed below, like right here, it spells that turmoil is months away. Here we were in 2019. We had this candle below and nobody wanted to pay attention to it. Everybody still believed, oh, 50K, 100K, 50K, 100K, $250,000, million, looking at these crazy prices. But again, we had a candle below this red line. It's foreshadowing. We pointed it out right here in this chart. In August 21st, we made a video right around there pointing out this exact candle that closed below. And we said, look at 2019. Look at what happened. It didn't go straight down. It was something like 150 days from here to here. In between then, we had, boom, a rally, crash back down. Boom, huge rally, another crash back down. So what are we doing now? We closed below, handful of candles. We're rallying back above. Look familiar? We just did that. 2019. We came below, we rallied back above. We came back below, we rallied back above. This type of movement is what we pointed out. We made a rule 183 days ago. We said, look, Bitcoin's going to go sideways. It's going to have low volatility. It's not going to get above 31K. And here's the one thing to watch and the one thing only, the red line. If we have a candle closed below the red line, what did we say? We said it. That was our rule 183 days ago. rule. We made a rule. We've got to follow it. And we said it's going to be a rocky road. Bitcoin's not going to go straight up. It's not going to go straight down. Look at 2019. Not straight up, not straight down. There's a lot of fake outs here on the route. Now, we said, pay attention to this green line. Why? That's what we retested back in 2019. And we really retested our base. A lot of people get confused. Hey, when you say Bitcoin could retest its base, what does that mean? Let's look at it. This is a retest of our base, quite literally. What does that mean? Well, Bitcoin went below this red line, huge warning. We rallied back above, good, get people excited. We came back down. People are still excited because this was a large rally. We went from about 6,004 up to 10,004. This is a big rally. It gets people very, very excited. But again, the trend is your friend until the end. This was a double top, top one, top two, double top, and it failed to make a higher high. So we'd been making a high, a lower high, another lower high, and failed to make a higher high still. And it was a double top. So again, the trend is your friend until the end. We failed to make a higher high. We failed to make anything of importance in the charts. And as a result, we retested our base. This is our base. This was a retest of our base. If you look at where the wick went, it literally went down to our base. A retest of our base means we plummet and retest our base. It's market structure. It has to confirm our market structure. The point of phase one of the bull is all about market structure. We have to build structure on top of our previous resistance. This was our previous resistance. We hadn't yet confirmed it. We crashed back down with huge wicks. This was really short-lived. And people can say, oh, COVID, oh, no. Did we have COVID back here? How come we rebuilt structure right on top of our base? Did we have COVID here in 2012? Was there COVID in 2012? Because how come we built structure right on top of our base? COVID schmovid. You could take COVID out and replace another something around a war or some tweet from Elon. It doesn't matter. Bitcoin does the same thing in every single cycle. How about here? Did we have COVID in 2023? I can't remember. How come we're building structure right on top of our previous resistance? Seems odd. Why are we doing that? There must be COVID again. Anyways, looking at it, we're building some pretty tight structure here. We're building structure on top of this market structure, which is great, but not the real bottom of our structure, which would be more qualifying here around the 20-ish K. So I would really recommend you pay attention to what's happening in these prior cycles and just the pure facts. We closed below this red line. It doesn't mean today or tomorrow we crash down to the green, but it means that in a couple months from now, that could very well be our landing spot, which would catch everybody off guard, because if we were to get down to this green area, oh my God, people would freak out. They would say, see, 10K, here we are, 9K, 8K, 7K, 6K, it's coming, 3K. There's a lot of people still waiting for those numbers. I'm going to get to the worst case scenario. What do I think is the worst? Because look, we came down to the green line here and we held support at it. We wicked way the hell down from the green line. So could we wick way the hell down? Could we create a new low in the market? What's the worst case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? Let's get to it. I mean, let me just break down. This is going to be my opinion based on the facts. I just laid out every single fact about every single cycle. Nothing that I said was an emotional opinion of what I thought was going to happen or hoped or whatever. It was just facts, just plain facts. Let's get to what I think. And then I want to give a story. I want to give an inspirational story. 183 days ago, this is what we said about the market. And back up, because oftentimes what we say is it really goes against the grain. It rubs people the wrong way. It's not what people want to hear. Back here at 48K, we called a mega crash. We literally called it a mega crash at 48K. This rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. They did not want to hear it because we had just had an all-time high. We were hot off the all-time high, and everyone was very convinced that we're going to go to 100K, 200K, $250,000. So the high majority of people were against me then, but you can see what happened. You know, based on the facts, we were confident that there was a mega crash. Then we got down to 17,500. I made the call of my life, calling the bottom of the market. Now, in retrospect, that was a crazy call, but if you look at it and study the charts from any angle, this was the first bottom of the market. There are no charts that say otherwise. Now it's undisputable that this was the first bottom of the market. Undisputable now. Now that we're, more than a year and a half removed from that, it's undisputable. Study the chart from any angle, any time frame. This is bottom one of the market. This is the second bottom. We had double bottom with strong bullish reversal, strong bullish divergence. We said at that point last year, 2023 is going to be phase one of the bull. People hated us then. They said, there's no way phase one of the bull in 2023, we're going down to 10K, 8K, 7K, 6K, 5K. No way phase one of the bull. 2023 comes, phase one of the bull. Phase one of the bull, the people that were calling for all those lower prices, they got so excited at 31K. And they said, oh my God, here it is. We're going to 50K. And we sat here and we said, no, it's not likely. It's going to be phase one of the bull. It's very boring. It's very methodical. You know the drill. So usually each thing we say, it's not what you want to hear. It goes against the grain, and a lot of people don't like what I have to say because it's not what they want to hear. But here's what I have to say now. A couple months from now, we could be in a situation where Bitcoin is further down in price. People are panicking. People are calling for substantially lower prices, but it's short-lived. It's likely that the worst case scenario would be a retest of this line with a potential wick to literally, quite literally, retest our base. We're talking about 18-ish K area a couple months from now. We could literally be down here and people would be calling for absurd numbers that never come. Do I think the worst case is we create a new pivot low? I don't think so. It's not logical at this point. I study Bitcoin from every angle between 50 and 60 charts, just Bitcoin. I can't find any evidence that we would be in a situation that we would have a new pivot low. Is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? No, it's not probable. The worst case scenario, which would be a legitimately worst case, which would be honestly right on par for what Bitcoin did in its past cycle, is a retest of this green line, which currently is at 17, 18K and rising. Now, could we have a wick down like we did before? Yeah, absolutely. But this wick down really, it needed to get back to our market structure. It needed to retest our base, which a move down into this area of about 17-ish K would be quite literally the same type of move that 2019 had. And I believe it would be very short-lived. Look at these wicks. These are huge wicks, huge buying pressure. And it's likely that that would be the worst case. The worst case is we retest our base. People freak out. They say, here it is. I told you 10K, 9K, 8K, 7K, 3K, 2K. And it never happens. This is phase one of the bull. This is not phase one of the bear. This is phase one of the bull, which at this point, it seems undeniable that we're in phase one of the bull. I know we sat here 183 days ago and we said phase one of the bull and people are like, ha, funny. Now look, we're 183 days later. The market's done exactly what we said. We don't have a crystal ball. We just look at the facts. It's time to look at the facts. The facts are saying, hey, we're below this red line. We made a rule. If we go below this red line, it's likely we're going to retest here, but it takes time. So if we look at it, we're still a couple months away, but we've got to be ready for it. So we have some turmoils in between. The market goes up, down, up, down. We got to look at the trend. We have to look at the trend. We're holding some structure here. We have our pivot highs here. We have our structure here. We're in a really tight range. What we talked about in the last video, this 2-week stochastic RSI, this could throw a wrench in everything. This could propel us into phase two of the bull. But we have a rule for phase two of the bull, which we created last year, which I'm going to get in the next video. The next video on Friday, we're going to be talking about that precise rule. And after that video, you're going to have complete clarity of what's going on long-term and short-term for Bitcoin. But we made a rule. We've got to stick to it. We have to respect the rule. We can't let emotions get in the way. Like, oh, this time is different. This time is different. There's never this time different. Even with COVID, we just proved the COVID theory wrong. We've retested our structure every single market cycle that Bitcoin has ever had, period. Those are just facts. So we're in a really tight range now, tight here and tight here. Something's got to give. This is the calm before the storm. It's getting excited. Let's get to something that will help people. I want to talk about something that really impacted my life in a deep and meaningful way. If you're anything like me, you're a hard worker and you've probably outworked everybody your whole life and it's gotten you where you are today. I probably attract like-minded people. I'm certain you feel this way about yourself, but here's the huge lesson that came to me. My whole life, I outworked everybody. And I always had more money than everyone around me, but nobody ever knew it. I wasn't the braggadocious type of, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. That's why if you look at me on social media, you can't find me in Lambos, you can't find me in private jets. I don't post to flash and flex like that. It's just not my character. Try to find it anywhere. You won't be able to find it. It's not me. I was the same way even when I was a young kid. I knew I had more money than everyone around me. They did not know it, period, on purpose. So I knew that I could outwork everybody and get to where I wanted to go. I was rising through the ranks in restaurants. I got to be in charge of a restaurant when I was like 16 and a half years old. And by 17, 18, I was in charge of nicer restaurants, meaning the back end. I was in charge of all of the chefs. I was in charge of like the kitchen staff, of the dishwashers, etc. I was a teenager. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I worked harder than everyone. I wasn't the smartest kid. I worked harder than everyone. I graduated college. I stopped being a chef and I started being like a food scientist, a food technologist. So I got my first corporate job at at Campbell's. And that's a big deal. I was making more money than anyone in my family, including my mom and my dad, my older sister, including all of my friends from college, including my friends from high school. I was making more money than everyone I knew. And I got to Campbell's. I was the youngest kid there. I was the youngest kid in the whole department. And I was the only kid who knew how to do the chef thing and do the food science thing. I got there and thinking, hey, I'm going to be the star of the show. I can outwork everyone here. What I didn't realize was almost everyone around me had a doctorate degree. I didn't even know what the hell a doctorate degree was at the time. I'd never met anyone in my life with a doctorate degree. I'd never met anyone in my life with wealth. I started meeting people who were millionaires, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is a different game. I don't know this game. And I realized something. At that point in my life, I was 22, 23. So this is like literally 16, 17 years ago. I get into corporate America. I start making a lot of money, more than anyone I knew. I knew I could work harder than everyone, but in the first time in my life that didn't matter. These people who had doctorate degrees, they walked differently. They spoke differently. They dressed differently. They did different things after work. I didn't know this life. I had no idea. And for the first time in my life, hard work was not the boss. It was smart work. These people, they didn't outwork everybody. They worked smarter. I had no idea how to work smarter. I only knew how to work hard. I was a kid. Both my parents dropped out of high school. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. I always had more money than my parents, starting from like when I was like 13, and they didn't know money. They didn't know like how to work smarter. They had no idea. I was in there by myself like, man, this is a different game. I need to step up my game. I need to learn what these people are doing. So I started studying them non-stop studying these people. I needed to know, how do these people get so far ahead, but they're not outworking people? They're working smarter. They carry themselves differently. They set up different meetings. They make strategic partnerships. They make strategic moves. They talk strategically in meetings. And I'm like, man, I'm writing mad notes. How do I get ahead? I started studying these people. This was the biggest lesson early on in my career, that hard work was no longer the boss. I had to learn how to work smarter. This was a big transformation in my career because at that time, I only knew one way. And at that time, I realized, okay, definitely not the smartest person in the room, still the most hardworking, but now I need to learn how to work smarter. I need to learn what these people are doing. So I highly recommend you take this into consideration. If you're like me, you've outworked everybody so far. That's how you got to where you are. And you've probably been relatively quiet about it because like-minded people usually attract each other. You've probably been relatively quiet. Stay quiet, but figure out how to work smarter. And that's how you jump up another level. Find those people, study those people that are working smarter than you. They're not outworking you. They're working smarter. They carry themselves differently. Maybe they have a different background. Study them. This will take you up another level. So let me know in the comments down below if this connected with you. I'm not interested in making normal videos. I'm interested in impacting your life. I don't care about being famous or well-known or being flashy or showing off. I care about impacting your life. I'm put on this planet to wake people up and get them to achieve things that they didn't think were possible. It's what I've been devoted to even before I had money. This is what I've been devoted to my whole life. I truly believe this is why I was put on this planet. This is why I do this YouTube video. This is why I do this part of the video, which nobody else does. They don't care if you're successful or not. They could care less. They care if they get your money and get your click, get your view, get your like. That's it, period. I care about helping people. End of discussion. So there's a huge difference. I hope you connect with it. I'll see you right back here in the next video. Do you want to know when to buy and when to sell? Click this video right now.